From the Nepsis Capital Management Studios, this is AM 1280, The Patriot, WWTC, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Intelligent Radio.
With SRN News, I'm Michael Harrington in Washington. Looking for answers in New York City.
We have a lot more work to do to be able to say what kind of motivation was behind this. Was it a political motivation, a personal motivation? What was it? We do not know that yet.
Mayor Bill de Blasio talking about last night's bomb blast in Manhattan that injured 29 people. All of them have been released from the hospital. Meanwhile, Governor Andrew Cuomo is making a promise.
Whoever placed these bombs, we will find, and they will be brought to justice.
Police also removed another suspicious device from a location near the site of last night's blast. In nearby New Jersey, the probe continues into a pipe bomb that went off before a race. Nobody was hurt. And a Minnesota hospital says 3 of 8 people stabbed at a mall last night remain hospitalized. This is SRN News.
Steve Deace lays out the goal of his show.
I want to do whatever we can do with the talent God has chosen to give to us to play some role in making a biblical worldview mainstream in America again. That is my number one goal. That's why we don't do things other people do. That's why we don't do things the way other people do them. I have other goals, and they all pale in comparison to that.
The Steve Deace Show, weeknights at 11 on AM 1280, The Patriot, Intelligent Radio.
Download the AM 1280 The Patriot mobile app today so you can listen to your favorite programs wherever you are. It's faster loading, more social media links to stay connected to your favorite station anytime, anywhere. Download the AM 1280 The Patriot app today at your device's app store. Now a quick look at your forecast from the Benjamin Franklin Plumbing Weather Center. Mostly sunny with a high near 81 degrees. Scattered thunderstorms mainly before 11 p.m. tonight. Mostly sunny with a high near 76. More real estate chalk talk right here on AM 1280 The Patriot.
AM 1280, The Patriot.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher for Park Chrysler Jeep. As a former Jeep owner, I loved every minute of my Jeep experience. Whether running to the store or hitting the open road, there's no experience like it. Park Chrysler Jeep with their destination location in Burnsville.
You'll feel the difference when you walk in the door at family-owned Park Chrysler Jeep of Burnsville. Whether you're a Jeep fan or considering a Jeep for the first time, they invite you to stop in. If you're tired of your current vehicle or you just owe too much money on it, don't worry. Park Chrysler Jeep has a program for you. Now's the perfect time to get a quality new or used vehicle from Park Chrysler Jeep. Just 15 minutes south of the Mall of America in Burnsville. Park Chrysler Jeep. Online at parkchryslerjeep.com.
Family owned since 1957, there's a reason why people travel from out of state to have the Park Chrysler Jeep experience. Whether you need a Jeep or just need one service, there's only one, Park Chrysler Jeep, or online at parkchryslerjeep.com.
These days, people send their children to college to learn a trade that no one in the family has done before. They move away, they work for someone who doesn't love them, and then they trade their infinitely valuable time for a little bit of someone else's money. The old plan was to get a job but lay aside each month and later start a family business. As the owner, you leverage the time of others and earn off hundreds of man-hours per day. It's called financial leverage. At Tradeway, we teach you to start a family business by trading stocks. The added benefit is that each generation teaches the next and builds on these skill sets, and your children have the competitive advantage of experience. That's a great plan for potentially creating generational wealth.
Coming to the Minneapolis Marriott West, September 23rd and 24th. Only $99.95 for your entire household, plus a free ticket for a friend and a full money-back guarantee. To register, call 877-907-TRADE. That's 877-907-8723. Or go to Tradeway.com. That's Tradeway.com.
What's on your travel horizon? For some, it's the city. Others, a tropical oasis. Or perhaps it's a cultural experience. At Travel Leaders Apple Valley, we recognize travel as a personal experience. Whether you need to seal a deal in Shanghai or catch some rays in Hawaii, it's our ambition to give you the personal attention, expertise, and exclusive advantages to help you embrace the joy of travel as much as we do. Travel is more than just a booking. Our experts are your personal guide to the world, from advising you of all the options, sharing insider tips on destinations, to understanding the complexities. We have a passion for travel. Most importantly, our travel experts give you the peace of mind knowing that you can rely on us throughout your entire travel experience. Whatever is on your travel horizon, for great offers on hotels, cruises, and more, contact Travel Leaders Apple Valley at 952-432-6272 or visit travelleaders.com/Apple Valley MN. We get you. When you travel with Travel Leaders Apple Valley, you travel better.
Welcome back to the program. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk, realestatechalktalk.com. Is you where you want to go to find that vendor contact information to help you fix up your home and get it ready for sale. And 612-627-8000 is the number to call if you need our help. Remember, we can't help you if you don't call, so call today. So you don't get stuck with grilling out in the backyard when it's cold outside.
No.
Simply call the Rack Shack Barbecue. Have that barbecue delivered right to your front door so you can focus on your friends and family and stay nice and warm inside once you're getting a little cool and crisp out there.
What if you want to get away from the family a little bit so you can go out by the grill?
That's good. Then you can go in the garage. Go in the garage, have a cigar.
In the garage.
Just go in the garage and have a cigar. Pull that door open.
Yeah, I grilled pork tenderloin last night.
Yeah.
So good. Oh, my gosh. It was raining, of course.
You know what I'm on?
What are you in?
Off topic a little bit.
That's
here,
all right.
but I got, I get on these.
We
kicks.
got an hour.
Okay, I get on these. I get on these kicks, right?
Yep.
And I'll go for a while where I'm eating turkey.
Okay.
And I'm not a turkey guy. Like at Thanksgiving, I don't eat turkey. There's other things on there, the side dishes and whatnot. I just don't eat a lot of turkey.
Okay.
But since we opened the restaurants, I have just fallen in love with this smoked turkey.
Really?
And so I'll go for a while and I'll have pork. I'll go for a while and I'll have ribs. I'll go for a while and I'll have brisket. Lately, I've been on the turkey kick. And I'm just, the turkey sandwiches, turkey just plain. I like to take the turkey and fry it in the morning.
Fry.
So I'll take.
You're frying.
Now this is smoked turkey.
Smoked turkey.
Right. Cut, nice, about 1/4 of an inch thick or 3/8 of an inch thick, like you get it on a sandwich. And I'll just throw a couple pieces down with some coconut oil.
Good.
And just give it a little heat through, and then have it with eggs. So I have that turkey meat instead of bacon, with eggs.
I bet that's good.
God, that's good.
That sounds really good. So if you own a restaurant, you too can. No.
You too can. No, but you can. But you can come in and buy the turkey by the pound.
Yeah.
And just get a pound of turkey and take it home and have it for turkey sandwiches or do a lot of stuff. It's great in salads and whatnot. But anyhow, I digress because I'm just now on this turkey kick and I'm eating it virtually every day.
Well, you're losing weight. You're looking good, buddy.
Yep, that's trimmed down too. It's good for you too. Smoked meat is really good for you. Okay, so it's the money segment, Kelvin. Sorry.
Are you were in the midst of belaboring on about just get your barbecue right, so that's what you want to make sure everybody knows.
That's what I got hung up on.
That's why I got hung up.
I started talking about barbecue, and then all of a sudden,
and then it's just we can blow an hour just on barbecue
I'm on
if we
turkey.
want.
I could,
right?
but I don't want to do that.
All right.
I want to talk about the market and what's going on with the market at this time of the year. I saw a report came out from the census, or I forget who it was. I was online. I was reading, as I always do every day. I read about the market and the market conditions and whatnot. And they were taking a survey, a consumer survey about their feelings about the market. And
the market being what market?
The real estate market. Okay, and the market in general, but as it relates to real estate. And they were asking people if they felt rates were going to go up or down. And it was interesting because only like 30% of them felt rates were going to go up, 38%. And just under 10% still felt that rates were going to go down even lower. I don't know if they were just dreaming or what the situation is. So I thought, I'm going to ask old Kelvin.
Oh, we have a lot of wisdom.
What the real story is going to be on rates as we move forward from now to the end of the year. And I'm going to hold you accountable to this in December, from now to the end of the year, and early next year, January. What do you see rates doing as we move into 2017?
Do you want me to go now?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So between now and the end of the year, you're going to float between 3.5 to 3.875.
Okay,
30-year fixed money.
Not above 4.
Not above 4. I think next year again we're going to stay right in that same range, but I think the top end will be 4 1/8, and we'll shift from 3.5 to 3.625. I think we'll shift about 1/8 of a point up, but I don't think there's going to be a dramatic move. A lot of people are talking that rates could go actually lower as they look at the world global economy, seeing that there's $70 trillion at negative interest rates, putting pressure around the world on our market looks really good. So there's concern. There's a lot of people that think our market's just fine the way it is. It'll be interesting if the Fed increase rates or not. They're obviously not here in I don't think they will here in September. December, I think they will, but that affects short-term money, not our money as much. So I think rates are going to be pretty steady because remember, as interest rates go up, you've got the national debt that just ticks just faster and faster, and there's a lot of pressure to keep that down. And so I think we're in a great season for mortgage interest rates, the best of my 15 years doing this. So
well, let me ask you this: when we meet with people, I'm surprising how many they're talking about moving, and a lot of times we talk about with people at the very front end of the conversation. They're not looking to move this year, maybe, or next year, but they're looking ahead, of either when the kids graduate from high school or when they retire or something like that. So they're planning, being thoughtful about it. And we get their mortgage balances, and we run some net sheets for them. We see a lot of people that are still paying 6.5%, or they'll have a second mortgage that we had one this week. No kidding, 8.25% or 8.125 or something like that on the second mortgage. What do you do about a situation like that? What does the DTI have to look like? Because this person in particular, we said, you're going to be a push. Because what you owe on the place is still about what you're gonna walk out of there with zero, so you have no equity. You can sell it, but you have no equity.
Interesting.
They're sitting there with the 8%. So immediately then the conversation was, well, can I refinance then? I don't know. I mean, answer the question. What kind? If you're at 100%
loan to value,
what are your refinance options?
Depends. First thing I'd look at depends when they took that initial mortgage out to see if they qualify for a HARP or a program, which was, just allows you to go over that 100% loan to value. If it wasn't taken out between certain dates, and we haven't done them for quite a while, but that'd be my first look. If not, then you're going to be looking at, probably have to get to 90%. There's a couple banks we have that you could maybe get to 95%, but it's going to still be a first and second. We're just going to be able to bring that rate on that second from 8.25 down to 4.5 or something like that. So it'd still save them money. And so we don't see, on our side, we don't see that as much, but we do see people who do have a first and second. We're rolling those together and then putting them on a 25-year term or a 20-year term or a 15-year term or whatever that term is, just to kind of make sure we're not increasing, because you have to look at, are we increasing their outlay because now you extended, they're 7 years into their mortgage, now you're putting another 7 years on it, so now we're back to a third year. I mean, sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes. Well,
and that was another question I was going to ask you, because many times we're visiting with people and they've got they have 10 years left to pay. Right, so they have 10 years left to pay. They're sitting there at 6.5% or 6.25 or 5, whatever it is. Say 6, and they're saying, "Well, should we refinance?"
Yeah, but to a 10-year.
Yeah, but then their payment's going to jump up too, isn't it? How does that work?
Yeah,
if I'm in a 30-year mortgage and I've got 10 years left to pay, and now I take that principal balance and refinance it into a 10-year mortgage, is my payment going to stay the same or will it go up?
Go up a little bit, but it'd be fun to run the number. I mean, I love that stuff, so it'd be really fun to look at. And but again, what I would do in that case is I'd look at how much interest are we saving by taking that, because you're still paying a 6% interest rate, and I'd much rather have you pay a 2.875 interest rate for the remaining 10 years. Your argument would be, well, it's primarily principal now anyway, so I'm fine. But there's still an interest component there. So let's see, are you right or am I right?
Right.
And you know how much I love Excel and can make that thing dance and sing and do a lot of things. So I'd love to show that to people. So that's it's a good reason to have the conversation. And we had, I had 2 conversations this past week, and you know what? We couldn't do anything, but at least we got together, we had the conversation, and I know that those people are going to be great advocates for us, and they're going to be great referral sources for us, because we met with them. They were okay, right? We could improve it a little bit, but not, when you look at the cost benefits, I would probably just stay where you're at. You're okay. And, there's not a lot of guys, I think, in our business that would say that. They'd find a way to try to get a refi out of
a
the deal.
reason to frame the question.
And it's not always, it's not always the best thing,
right?
But at least have the conversation with someone who's going to tell you the truth.
That's why we love working with you, Kelvin, and your whole team over there, because we look out for the best interests of our clients who sometimes, as was it in this case, the recommendation is don't sell. Why are we having this conversation? Is it because you really want to move?
Yeah.
Because if you really want to move, we'll help you. If it's a cost issue, then let's look at some other options first.
Yeah.
And you might wind up moving, and you might not. But if you like the place, you want to stay here. If you could afford it, then let's see if we can have that conversation and see if we can do something in that regard and work that out. If you're looking for more information about selling or buying a home, your one-stop website is realestatechalktalk.com, or you can call us, of course, anytime, 612-627-8000. That number is going to ring directly to my cell phone and my son's cell phone. One of us is going to pick it up because we know that you want some information. 612-627-8000. We'll be right back.
Get that Rack Shack attack, Rack Shack barbecue, yeah.
AM 1280, The Patriot.
Put money in your pocket with a supplemental income. This is Kevin Young from Online Trading Academy. Learn to make money and protect your wealth in any market by joining us for a free workshop. Call us at 952-814-4410 to get a free flash drive on successful trading. No experience necessary. Increase your knowledge on stocks, options, futures, and Forex to help you make money. Go online to learnwithota.com or call us at 952-814-4410.
Have you racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by, making minimum payments? You should know the credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $500 million of debt. National Debt Relief has helped so many people they're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Reduce a large portion of your debt now. Call National Debt Relief at 800-518-4020. 800-518-4020. 800-518-4020.
Mike Gallagher here. When you have a broken windshield in the Twin Cities, you've got a real advantage. Advantage Auto Glass. You can trust them to get every detail right the first time. And here's another advantage. The Advantage Auto Glass website at replacemywindshield.com. It's got everything you need. You can get a quote, schedule an appointment, even file an insurance claim. You can still call Advantage Auto Glass at 952-423-6396. They'll come right to your home or work anywhere in the metro. And with on-time scheduling, there's no 4-hour wait, no out-of-pocket expense. Advantage Auto Glass handles all the billing, and they back your windshield with a lifetime warranty. Family-owned Advantage Auto Glass, the Patriots' original auto glass sponsor. Call 952-423-6396, 952-423-6396, or at replacemywindshield.com.
For chips, nicks, or cracks, call Advantage Auto Glass.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Yeah, it's fine. I just watched an episode on how to remove a tree on that one website.
When it comes to pruning, removals, and stump grinding, call on Tree Trust Landscape Services. Trying to save a few bucks by maintaining your trees yourself could result in damage to you or your neighbor's property. Not to mention, it can be dangerous. So leave the task to the trusted professionals at Tree Trust Landscape Services. Find them online at treetrustls.com.
And now, we return to the purveyors of real estate knowledge, your Real Estate Chalk Talk.
Hi, it's Keith Hitner Sr. here with Real Estate Chalk Talk, and we're with Kelvin Kaemingk, the money man from American Mortgage and Equity Consultants. Kelvin, what's going on? You got a couple of questions, I think.
Well, I've got a couple things I wanted to know from you that we always try and hit in the second hour. Market activity right now, curious where you're seeing the market. And then also want to kind of hit on, how fast homes are selling. we have some interesting information across the country how fast homes are selling. But first, hit Minnesota market a little bit in terms of, this time of year. What are you seeing? It seems like the activity is down a little bit. But just talk about just the market right now.
It's funny because I just had this conversation. It was comical with our branch vice president with Coldwell Banker Burnett, and so we're chatting about the market, and he was commiserating with me a little bit of how quiet it was, and how showings were off, and the front desk is slow, and there's nobody in the office, and just at what's going on, and we've noticed that on our lead generating activities that we're doing and the websites that we have, that there's less activity on them. There's fewer inquiries than we had 30 days ago, and so forth. And I had just chuckled and I said, I'm guessing that we had this same conversation last year at this time. It is so predictable and so reliable that every week, just following Labor Day, people are just distracted again. We see it in the restaurants.
Why are they distracted now?
Kids are back to school.
Well, I know, but that's the excuse you use, like, it's slow, end of summer, everybody's on vacation.
No,
now you're saying they're distracted.
But those types of things happen and everything, and we have to acknowledge them and take them into consideration when the kids are going back to school. The homes that school families. Families with school-age children, they wanted to be in their house by the time school started, right? So in other words, those homes then were purchased in May, in June, and July. Okay. So that's when we were really busy with them. Right. A lot of inquiries, a lot of showing activity, out in the car, showing homes, negotiating transactions, and those types of things. Now that group of buyers, which is a substantial a percentage of the market. Right. They've now settled. The accounts have settled. They're in their house now. They're back in school, and the focus for the next a couple of weeks right after that is getting the kids settled in school, meeting with teachers, doing orientations, getting back into that routine, getting the kids started in their sporting activities and their extracurricular activities. We see a lot of people who or talk to a lot of people who are actually want to make sure that they take the time to have family dinners, right, and talk to the kids and all that stuff and get that whole thing settled in. What happens now from now to the end of the year, the buyers from now to the end of the year are different buyers than the buyers of 90 days ago. These buyers are buyers who are now wanting to be in by Thanksgiving, be in by Christmas, be in by the end of the year. Typically, they are either no kids or preschool kids,
or same school district,
but even those are mostly settled by now, unless they were trying earlier and weren't able to find anything. They continue to look, which we have some of that kind of activity, but it's a different buyer altogether. Right. So you need to shift gears with that and acknowledge that you're doing a lot of relocation as we come into the fourth quarter, especially a lot of relocating people as corporations try to get their books wrapped up for the year and get their employees settled by the end of the year and get that business booked in.
Good time to go after renters, or do you think renters typically re-sign leases spring, summer, or do you think some of that's coming up?
I don't think it's a particularly good time to go after renters per se. I think it's a really good time to go after a rental property. And it's also a really good time to go after, if you're speaking of investors, a good time to go after a property that is a rehab target. Where you want to pick up a house. More than likely, the fourth quarter of the year is a really good time to get a bargain on something. Okay. Because if you put yourself in the mindset of a seller, whose house you're going after. Right. It's not fun to have your house on the market in the fourth quarter of the year. It's clement weather. It's wet, it's sloppy. It's just not a nice time to do it. So if you're selling your house in the fourth quarter of the year, there's a motivation there that is beyond normal. Either you're relocating or you're moving to Arizona or retiring, or there's something going on there. That can be family stuff too, divorce, splitting up and those kinds of things. But there's a motivation there. So with that in mind, there's an opportunity there to, pick up a deal. and many times there's some urgency in the timeline that a seller will have where they don't have time or want to do a lot of the fixing and the getting ready for sale and all that stuff that we see in a spring market. So from an investor standpoint, good time to pick up a deal.
You like to break the year out into trimesters.
I do.
I like to break it out into quarters,
Yes.
but we'll go your way trimesters. So what percentage of the market moves in that first quarter, which is January through April, and then May through August, and then September through December for your business? So how do you see the market? You know, where's the majority? And give me percentages.
Yeah, we do our financial reporting, of course, is done quarterly, like the rest of the world does it. But our market is really a trimester market. We have a spring market, a summer market, and a so-called fall market. And the spring market, which
you include January in your spring market almost.
January almost is in the spring market, but you really could say your spring market is February, March, April, and May. February, March, April, and May, and then your fall or winter market would run through that. January is a lost month for the most thing, unless the weather is just gorgeous in January. Most of the time, January is kind of just a go sideways month. People are getting ready to sell, but they haven't brought on. And the consumer too. They just came through Christmas. They just came through all the holidays. Their credit cards are maxed out. You know, they're waiting for see what their tax refund is going to be. All of that
stuff.
Kind of stuff is going on. So that limbo time of the year can run from January almost through the middle of February.
So give me percentages.
I would say that in the spring and early summer market is going to accommodate for about 50% of the activity.
Oh, really?
And then the other two markets are going to be the other 50%.
Okay.
Is however.
So let's talk. Are homes still selling fast?
They are still selling fast, and we have a low inventory. I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but we have low inventory. If your home is clean and priced correctly, and it's going to sell in 30 to 45 days. I mean, for the normal $250,000 to $350,000. I think our average price ranges that we sell is like $285,000 or $287,000 or something like that. That price range is going to sell very quickly if it's priced correctly. As the market gets higher, as you go up higher in price range, those days are going to extend out a little bit until when you're in the $1 million, you're still over a year for $1 million.
Are you really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit. There's a interesting chart that came out nationally on how fast homes are selling all over the country. What struck you on that? So they broke it out by 30 days or less, 31 to 45 days, 46 to 60 days, and then over 60 days on market. And this is for your average home sales. So Minnesota fell in the 30 or less, along with California, Colorado, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Michigan, Nebraska, Nevada, and Oregon, Texas, Tennessee, Utah, and Washington. So all those states are selling homes. So pretty interesting, and you kind of look, and that's almost all on the East Coast or West Coast of the country, and a little bit in the Midwest.
What struck me on that is just that. I mean, we have basically the Midwest is selling very quickly, and Texas. Texas is just a smoking hot market. And the states that I would have expected to be really fast, your Sun Belt states, your retirement states like Florida, Louisiana, Georgia. Well, Georgia's selling fast, but South Carolina, North Carolina, Arkansas, those retirement states, which have in the past been very fast selling states, are slower. I mean, those states are 61 to 90 days or 40 to 60 days average selling time. That surprised me about that. Minnesota is a brisk market, and we have a good economy here, and we have a good housing stock. We've got good homes. We can talk about that in the next segment about some of the top markets and what makes up a top market. It's surprising at how well Minnesota is doing, even compared to our neighbors of South Dakota and Wisconsin.
Right.
We seem to be doing much.
Are you surprised that Michigan would be that fast a market?
I'm very surprised at Michigan being in that fast of a market, less than 30 days, when you consider all of the turmoil that they've had in their economy. It'd be fun to delve into that and see what the reason for that is. If it's the lack of homes on, if it's the number of foreclosures, because there's a tremendous amount of foreclosed properties there, so you might have some people buying a lot of properties up. We're out of time for this segment. This is Real Estate Chalk Talk. 612-627-8000 is the number to call, and we will be back right after these important messages.
Get that Rack Shack attack, Rack Shack barbecue. Yeah.
AM 1280, The Patriot.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher for Park Chrysler Jeep. As a former Jeep owner, I loved every minute of my Jeep experience. Whether running to the store or hitting the open road, there's no experience like it. Park Chrysler Jeep with their destination location in Burnsville.
You'll feel the difference when you walk in the door at family-owned Park Chrysler Jeep of Burnsville. Whether you're a Jeep fan or considering a Jeep for the first time, they invite you to stop in. If you're tired of your current vehicle or you just owe too much money on it, don't worry. Park Chrysler Jeep has a program for you. Now's the perfect time to get a quality new or used vehicle from Park Chrysler Jeep. Just 15 minutes south of the Mall of America in Burnsville. Park Chrysler Jeep. Online at parkchryslerjeep.com.
Family owned since 1957, there's a reason why people travel from out of state to have the Park Chrysler Jeep experience. Whether you need a Jeep or just need one service, there's only one, Park Chrysler Jeep, or online at parkchryslerjeep.com.
Here's something to feel good about from Centrum Silver. Vitamin D was discovered in the age of dancing, the roaring 20s. Right on cue, because vitamin D plays an essential role in supporting strong bones and muscles. And just as dance moves have evolved, so is the importance of vitamin D. That's why Centrum Silver upgraded to our highest level of vitamin D3 ever.
Hey, wanna dance?
Centrum Silver, something to definitely feel good about.
If there's any delay, it's you we pay.
Benjamin Franklin Plumbing will clear your drain, guaranteed, or it's free. The experts at Benjamin Franklin Plumbing will clean any drain for $125. Any drain, Benjamin Franklin will clean it for just $125.
If there's any delay, it's you we pay.
The experts at Benjamin Franklin Plumbing are so sure they can unclog your toughest drain, and if they can't, it's free. Service includes a free camera inspection as well. Don't spend the better part of your day waiting for a plumber to show up or wondering if they can actually do the job. If Benjamin Franklin can't clear the drain, it is free. Some restrictions do apply. Call Benjamin Franklin Plumbing today. Benjamin Franklin, the punctual plumbers.
If there's any delay, it's you we pay.
You can now be social, and you don't even need to talk. Yeah, it's true. Just like AM 1280 The Patriot on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Instead of talking and being social, just join us on Facebook and Twitter with your computer, smartphone, or tablet and be social with us through social media. You'll stay up to date on what's happening at your favorite radio station and even have bonus access to prizes from time to time. So like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
And now, we return to the purveyors of real estate knowledge, your Real Estate Chalk Talk.
Hey, welcome back to the program. If you're just tuning in, this is Real Estate Chalk Talk. We're broadcasting from the Rack Shack Barbecue Studio. I'm Keith Hitner Sr. here in the studio with Kelvin Kaemingk. Kelvin's here to bring us an update on the market. We'll be talking about that a little bit next segment. Tell us what the interest rates are. Are you planning a lunch meeting or a company picnic? If you are, I got the number to call for you, 612-326-0430. I'll say it again slower. 612-326-0430. Ask for Elliot. Tell him that you have a business lunch that you're planning and tell him what you need, and he will take care of you and keep it well within your budget. Or you can go to rackshackbarbecue.com, click on the catering link, and just type it in there. Fill out a little bit form. Give us an idea of what it is that you're looking at, and Elliot will reach out to you and get you all hooked up. Good for the bottom line and good for the crew. Your staff will thank you for the great lunch. We were talking a little bit when we went out to break about market times. One of the other things that people look at, especially, it's surprising how Minnesota has, in the Twin City area, has a pretty robust relocation business. We talked about how the fourth quarter was important.
Can I read a little bit of an article regarding that?
Yeah.
So this is, and I want you to just react to it. It says, Minnesota is a pretty great place to live. We've been named the best state for kids, second best for working moms, and top 5 of the best states to grow old in, just to name a few. It says, after recent research proved that money can lead to happiness, personal finance website decided to take a closer look at what makes people happy, and they measured 3 components: emotional and physical well-being, work environment, community, and the community, and focus on the environment. And that's what makes us so good, I guess. So your thoughts on that as you think about relocation? A lot of people would say the winters keep people away, but you would say...
Yeah, as we visit with people who have moved here from other parts of the country, it's amazing to me the horrible reputation that Minnesota has for weather. Because they get the report every year from Embarrass, Minnesota, which is one of the northernmost cities in the United States, up there in the tip of Minnesota, and the little point that pops up there. And it always has, or many times will have, the coldest temperatures in the continental United States, and people across the country think that, well, first of all, they think this is flyover land for number one, but they think that applies to all of Minnesota, and they get here and they say, gee whiz, the weather isn't as bad as we thought it was going to be, and many of these people are coming from Ohio and New York, upstate New York. Let me tell you, it's no picnic. So they come here and they realize, it's not that bad. And the thing that offsets it is, and this is where the real comments come from, how beautiful it is in the spring and summer.
Interesting.
And that they come from an area of if they're coming from Arizona or from a warmer state. Yes, it's a milder and more temperate climate year round, but they don't have the glorious springs and summer. And they comment on how green everything is.
Really interesting.
And even if you come up from some of the southeastern states, which are green, but they seem to have a lot of dead wood and a lot of brown and a lot of those colors too. But you come up here in the spring and in the summer, and it is just so green, and they always have comments about that. Then the other thing is that we have an attitude about the people in Minnesota have an attitude about health. So there's just this general, run around the lakes, get outside, get that fresh air. We have our share of overweight people, but we have a slimmer population than most, and because there is that health, we got some of the world-renowned health organizations, Herald from Minnesota, and so there's that kind of attitude, and with that comes healthy kids and raising kids, and Minnesota schools generally are, when we complain about them, the Minneapolis school system, and the St. Paul proper school system, people complain about that, how awful it is and how much money is spent there, and the kids come out of there and they can't read and this, that, and the other thing. But the fact of the matter is that if you take Minnesota schools as a whole and measure them against other parts of the country, our schools are pretty darn good, and our suburban schools are phenomenal.
What do you think about the fact that they name how good Minnesota is for working moms, and it said they look at child care, quality of schools, gender pay equality, female unemployment, and work-life balance measures. And then they had us as second. They had Vermont first. North Dakota was third, which was interesting.
That is interesting.
So thoughts on that? Just Minnesota is having overall, other than our tax.
Well,
policy,
if you look at the let's just take the women situation for one thing, and raising kids.
Okay.
And I say women, I may sound like I'm a curmudgeon on this thing, but let's face it, I take myself personally and look at our extended family and how that is. It's the women typically have just that more of that nurturing thing, and they get saddled with that burden. But Minnesota is an equal opportunity employer in that regard, in that families are important, and the men are coming into that understanding, and the women are coming into that understanding. So child care then becomes a real important part of that family dynamic, because mommy isn't staying home with the kids as much as she used to. And so we need to have good facilities, good teaching facilities. And you drive down the streets in any one of the suburbs, I mean, you can't go for a mile and not have some kind of an early learning center or a child care facility or something. The problem is, and this is where I think Trump is really on target with this, is that the costs are ridiculous.
Yeah.
So there has to be something that is done about child care where a woman can pursue her career and not have 100% of that income go towards child care.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we need to get a handle on that as a country and say, look, if 50% of our workforce is women, then we need to deal with this if we're going to have families, because we don't want to just turn the kids over to the government. So I think Minnesota's pioneering in that, and you look at some of the schools that like Primrose and some of these that my grandkids go to. I mean, man, I tell you what, it makes your eyes bleed. It's so expensive.
Yeah.
But they come out of there and they're in good shape.
Yeah, let's shift to the other end of the spectrum. It says in the same article that Minnesota has been named the 5th best state to grow old in. And I'm curious how you see the impact. So it goes on and says that's pretty good considering the Minnesota state demographics. Predicts the number of adults 65 and over will double between 2010 and 2030. By then, 1 in 5 Minnesotans will be at least 65. The center says that's double what it was in 1970. So so in year 63, so how does that shift in our real estate market? What are you seeing?
Good question. When we started about 15 years ago building townhome developments that were targeted towards the empty nesters, one-level living, those kinds of things. Very, very
tough to find those.
It's tough to find them because they're expensive to build, and the buyer has got no pressure, right? Someone's living in their house. If they move out of the house this year, next year, or 5 years from now, it really doesn't matter. So the sales cycle is very long. Minnesota this is an issue that our association has actually looked at seriously, because if nationally we look at this millennial population as being the big baby boomers of the next century, these are going to be the drivers, but yet our population is the majority of people who are older than that. That makes a problem for us as an industry. Who are we going to sell houses to if we don't have this population? As it turns out, we're going to sell houses to the old people because they want to change their lifestyle. They want to change how they live. They still want to own a house. Minnesota's a great place, great health care, good transportation, lots of recreation opportunities, lots of indoor spaces where they can get out and get moved around, fabulous health care. It's just all of that stuff, which is really great for aging population.
So you think what's going to happen in real estate, we're just going to shift over to...
I think we're going to shift what we're building and who we're selling to.
Okay.
And you'll see more of that build as the population gets older. The builders have to they're so used to building a 2-story, 4-bedroom up 2-story that it's going to take a different set of builders.
What states, so in the same article it talks about what states are the best to grow old in. What do you think what would be on the top of your list as you think? Give me and they give the worst as well.
Yeah,
so
I would say like Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, the southeast states, coastal states. Texas I would have on that list.
Interesting list. Hawaii, number 1. Wyoming, number 2. New Hampshire, Colorado, then Minnesota.
Isn't that interesting? Hawaii is on that list. And then my brother just moved to Hawaii.
Did he?
Yeah.
Here's the worst. Mississippi, Nevada, Tennessee, Alabama, and West Virginia. And it shows a life expectancy in all those states. It's a lot lower in those states than in the other states. So I don't know what's happening in those states.
I don't know what's happening in those states either. That's very interesting. Let's head out to break. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk. Give us a call, 612-627-8000. We'd love to have a conversation with you about changing your lifestyle for the better. 612-627-8000. We can't help you if you don't call, so call today.
Get that Rack Shack attack, Rack Shack barbecue, yeah.
AM 1280, The Patriot.
Tune in to Healthline every week with your host, Dr. Bob Marshall, Ph.D., to get your questions answered and hear the latest breakthrough information in health and nutrition. Our product line, Quantum Nutrition Labs, delivers what others only promise, nutrition that really works. This month, Quantum CoQ10 is on special. This unaltered natural ubiquinone is in its original fat-soluble state, so it can be easily absorbed by the intestines. And you can enjoy the wide range of famous benefits, including cardiovascular, nerve, brain, and immune support. Buy 2 bottles, get the third one free. Call 800-370-3447. That's 800-370-3447. Experience the difference with CoQ10 in its natural original form.
Here's something to feel good about from Centrum Silver. Vitamin D was discovered in the age of dancing, the roaring 20s. Right on cue, because vitamin D plays an essential role in supporting strong bones and muscles. And just as dance moves have evolved, so has the importance of vitamin D. That's why Centrum Silver upgraded to our highest level of vitamin D3 ever.
Hey, want to dance?
Centrum Silver, something to definitely feel good about.
Blue Ox Heating and Air. Legendary service, install and repair. We'll fix anything with legendary care.
Here's another legendary special from Blue Ox Heating and Air. Save up to $2,430 off a new AC and high-efficiency furnace system. That's $2,430 off. This legendary special ends soon, so call today to get complete details. Blue Ox Heating and Air. Call 7634-BLUE-OX or find them online at goblueox.com. That's 7634-BLUE-OX and online at goblueox.com.
We'll be out in a flash and save you some cash. We'll be there today, even take out the trash. We've got a legendary team, our service is top. So call 7634-BLUE-OX. Blue Ox Heating and Air. Legendary service, install and repair. We'll fix anything with legendary care.
Financial Fortitude with Dale Creek and Ryan Litvin.
But it isn't just elderly people that are dropping out of the labor force. In fact, the inactivity rate for men in their prime years, that's 25 to 54 years old, that continues to rise. It is now the highest that's ever been recorded.
Financial Fortitude with Dale Creed Francis and Ryan Litvin. Saturday at 3 and Sundays at 11 a.m. here on AM 1280, The Patriot.
And now, we return to the purveyors of real estate knowledge, your Real Estate Chalk Talk.
Hey, welcome back to the final segment of Real Estate Chalk Talk. We're here in the studio with Kelvin Kaemingk, 651-231-2500. I'm Keith Hitner Sr. We haven't mentioned it for the last 2 hours. I suppose you're missing Keith Hitner Jr. He had to bow out today with a sick child. We were talking about raising your families and child care and those types of things, and that's just something that happens when you've got young children. Every once in a while, you got to stay home from work and take care of the kids, and we appreciate that. Kelvin, why don't you give us just a quick update now, once before we end the day today, about the money markets and what's going on out there in the economy, if anything, and what people can expect for interest rates on a refinance of their property.
Yeah, we'll just touch on the market real quick. Mortgage interest rates continue. This last week, they trended up a little bit. We moved about an eighth in rate, which isn't the end of the world, but it trended up a little bit this past week, but nothing to fear. The start of your number still starts with a 3, so be happy,
That's
right?
a good thing.
So that is good. I don't think a lot's going to happen in the market between now and the end in the election for sure. I think rates will stay in that 3.5% to 4% range. If you have 50 basis points in there, I think we'll be right in that range. On 15-year, where we're seeing a lot of activity, in 20-year, you're, on 15 years, you're looking probably high 2s to 3% in there, and 20-year, 3 to 3.25 in that range. So it gives people perspective a little bit, and it's really important if people have a little higher interest rate that when they meet with us, we're going to look at not starting them over at that 30-year mark, going, gosh, I'm down to 21 years. I don't want to refinance and then go to 30. Why don't we go to a 20 and see your payment's probably the same, if not less. And, let's at least just have the conversation around how you're looking financially in relationship to your your mortgage. What do you think, Keith, just on the stock market in general? I mean, it's everybody says it's overpriced. I'm looking at stuff we do just in the market personally. What do you foresee happening between now and the end of the year, or now election? I think it would normally be now between now and the end of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in an election year, it's now between now and election time. What do you see happening in the stock market? It just seems like it's poised for something to occur, but then we'll have pretty big drops in a day. I mean, it's really good opportunity for people who are looking at the markets and stuff like that. But what do you think?
I think that we're going to see in October, a softening again like we do every year. It seems like in October there's a softening of the market as companies come out with their earnings report and there's some disappointment in the earnings. I think a lot of it is going to be contingent on the forecast going forward for retailers. Target's been having some challenges, and if they can turn that ship around and have some positive light on it, might have an impact.
Mm-hmm.
Best Buy has been doing a pretty decent job lately, but when the retailers start forecasting of what their Christmas is going to be like and
mm-hmm.
revising their earnings, things, that's going to be a leading.
Are they revising up or down, Keith?
Mostly things are coming out now, and they're revising down on a lot of.
Are they really?
On a lot of things, and I think that the market continues in the economy continues to be soft. That storyline continues to support Trump. I think a lot of the reports that come out will come out high and have to be revised down as the current regime tries to save itself
mm-hmm.
in terms of public opinion and do what it can to influence public opinion as we move towards the election.
Mm-hmm.
I think once you're past the election, the fourth quarter, I think, is going to be a challenge.
Really?
Yeah, I do think it's going to be a challenge because I think some of the realities of the marketplace are going to take effect. And if retailers aren't going to gear up, that means that our unemployment numbers are going to be worse. Good for interest rates.
Yep. Good news.
Yeah, good news for interest rates. But
the problem is you need more inventory out there.
But inventory of homes, you mean?
Yeah.
That'll take care of itself as people have a need.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about real estate is that it never was meant to be a speculative driven market. It's a market that's driven by life.
Mm-hmm.
So when people get married, when they have kids, when they get divorced, when they get a job, when they lose a job, when they get transferred, all of those life-changing events,
mm-hmm.
kids grow up and move out,
Yep.
Those life-changing events is what drives real estate, and then it's buoyed and supported by the economy.
Mm-hmm.
So if the economy is good when those life-changing events happen,
mm-hmm.
the next home they buy is better. When
mm-hmm.
when the economy's poor and those types of things happen, the next home they buy is either going to be a sideways move or they're looking for some way to save money. So they want to make sure that it's efficient. They want to make sure that it's well maintained. They want to make sure that it's got the mechanicals are good. Those kinds of things become very important in their decision-making process as we move forward.
Where do you, we didn't talk about earlier in the show, Keith, listings right now and buyer needs. Where are your listings? What buyer needs do you and Sheila and your team have right now?
Our listing needs are we need everything. I mean, we are no different than the rest of the market. Our listing inventory is relatively low. We've sold through most of everything that we have. We've got quite a bit of land for sale. We've got a vacation.
Where?
Up north. We've got three different parcels of vacation properties that are for sale. We've got
anything on water up north?
Yeah, for $1 million. Yeah, we've got water up north for large parcels, development parcels.
Okay.
Up there that are gorgeous land, but that kind of property just is tough.
Yeah,
tough. We've got a couple parcels of land. We have a couple of. We've got a 10-acre site, and then we've got another. It's like a 7-acre site, actually in Egan, that are available. So we have some of that stuff still hanging on, but like that, the 4-bedroom up 2-story.
Could use a few.
Could use a few of those bad boys, even the split entry, the 3 or 4 bedroom split entries, any of those kinds. If you're looking to move out and you're living in a split entry home, I tell you what, split entry homes have become real popular again, and you'd be very pleased with the prices that you're going to get on your split entry house, where a few years ago they were down. Right now, split entries have come back. Townhomes, the townhome market is just robust. Lots of activity. We'd mentioned the one-level townhomes. If you're a one-level living situation and you're deciding that you're going to make Arizona your permanent residence, and you want to dump that one-level, that Wrangler-style townhome or detached single-level home that you're living in, boy, what a great market it is for you right now, because there's a lot of buyers that are out there looking for that specific property.
So we talked to somebody that we got pre-approved this week, Keith, which was fun, but they're looking to sell their home, and it was their first home. So there's a little bit of deferred maintenance on that property. And the question they asked me, and I referred them back to you, but they said, what are the things that we can do to the home that this guy's, he's a great guy, just not a great handyman. He said, what things could I do to kind of just make sure it looks good, improve value, maybe not even improve value a little bit, that I could do
make it sharper.
That isn't going to, I don't have to have an electrical engineering degree, or be a carpenter to do.
What we do when we consult with people, first thing that we're going to do with that seller is we're going to bring our stagers in. This is a staging consultation that we pay for. We believe in it. We're going to bring them in. They're going to go through the house. They look at it from an interior designer's point of view and a photographer's point of view. How is that going to lay out and look online when we're marketing that property online? That's important to us and important to the buyer. And they're going to give some advice to that person about just movement throughout there to improve flow through the house, eliminating distractions. A lot of it is just taking stuff down.
Interesting.
So that the buyer and the consumer and the camera's eye can focus on what it is that we're trying to sell, and cleaning it up. So the best thing that they can do, first of all, is deep clean. Just clean it. Eat off the floor, clean. Many times I'm talking to someone and say, how's your house? Is it clean? Oh, yeah, it's clean. How clean is it?
What does that mean,
How clean is it? Is it eat off the floor clean? And there's a pause. That's what it needs to be, sparkling clean. Windows, inside and out. Change your furnace filters, everything clean. Wipe the furnace down, clean. That's free. Just a little elbow grease. Furniture placement, like I said. Then you can start getting into, do you need to paint? Do you need to touch up? Do you need to replace some carpet here and there? Do you need to, add some accents over there to draw the eye to the corner of the room? There's lots of things that we can do to prepare a home for sale that just don't cost anything before we get into the spending money. If the carpet's shot, it's shot.
Yeah.
And, it needs to be replaced.
Cool. That's great. That will be helpful to them.
One of the other things that we look at, too, in the lower level, basements are a big deal in Minnesota. Make sure they're dry. So get yourself, if it's all humid and damp, even in the winter, it can feel musty down there. Get yourself a dehumidifier, get it running, and keep it running so that when you go downstairs, you don't feel like you're walking into a sauna down there or a damp, musty area. And that goes for a long ways. People are used to it. Don't feel bad about it. Just run that thing 24/7. Put the hose on it that runs down the floor drain so it doesn't trip off and sit there with a full tank of water for the next 2 days.
Yep.
Let it run, get it dried out down there, and it'll have a nice smelling basement, and it'll be do well for you. That's it for this week on your Real Estate Chalk Talk. You can call us at any time. Don't worry about it at all. 612-627-8000. Go to realestatechalktalk.com. realestatechalktalk.com. That's where you find all the information that we've been talking about for all these years. Find the vendors, get your house fixed up to live in or to sell. We'll see you next week.
You've been listening to your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hitner Group, the leaders of the #1 Coldwell Banker Burnett real estate team in Minnesota. If you want to get more when you sell and pay less when you buy, call 612-627-8000 or go online to hitnergroup.com.
AM 1280, The Patriot.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher for Park Chrysler Jeep. As a former Jeep owner, I loved every minute of my Jeep experience. Whether running to the store or hitting the open road, there's no experience like it. Park Chrysler Jeep with their destination location in Burnsville.
You'll feel the difference when you walk in the door at family-owned Park Chrysler Jeep of Burnsville. Whether you're a Jeep fan or considering a Jeep for the first time, they invite you to stop in. If you're tired of your current vehicle or you just owe too much money on it, don't worry. Park Chrysler Jeep has a program for you. Now's the perfect time to get a quality new or used vehicle from Park Chrysler Jeep. Just 15 minutes south of the Mall of America in Burnsville. Park Chrysler Jeep. Online at parkchryslerjeep.com.
Family owned since 1957, there's a reason why people travel from out of state to have the Park Chrysler Jeep experience. Whether you need a Jeep or just need one service, there's only one, Park Chrysler Jeep, or online at parkchryslerjeep.com.